Right. Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Deputy, let me know when you're ready. I'm ready. And Ms. Dartu, it's my understanding we just have one this morning.
Oh, okay. What do you prefer? Should I follow along with you, or do you want to save him?
Yeah, like normal, I'll go through with the English speakers and then we'll circle back to that person.
Okay.
Are you ready, Deputy? I don't think they can. Deputy, can you hear me? Yep, you.
Yes, Judge. Can you hear me?
I hear you now. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. No, you stay right Y'all ready? Yo, y'all ready? Judge, you know you're not on the screen.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting on you to tell me when you're ready. Now I'll turn it on.
Y'all hear the judge?
Yes.
Can y'all, fellas, can y'all hear the judge? Can you say something, Judge?
Testing.
Y'all can? Yeah, we're ready, Judge.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Marcus Thorpe. It is approximately 11:03 p.m. here this morning, and this is the first appearance here on Saturday, August 24th. Again, my name is Judge Marcus Thorpe. I'm one of the associate magistrate judges here this morning. And just a couple of things that I'm going to go over with you here this morning. If you give me just one moment.
Hey.
As I was saying before, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me for that. This is your first appearance, so we're going to go over a couple of things here this morning. First and foremost, I always like to remind people, please keep in mind that this is being recorded live. In addition to it being recorded, there are, of course, people who are here online, as well as those around you. If you say certain things, you make us all witnesses to your case. So I suggest that you confine your statements to me to my questions. So I'm going to talk to you about what you've been charged with and what your bond is. You do not want to talk to me about the facts of your case because, of course, as I said, that sort of stuff can work against you. Now, as I said, I'm not here to try your case. I'm not here to take a plea. I'm not here to have any legal discussions with you about the specific facts of your case. The purpose of this preliminary hearing is to inform you of the charges against you, to advise you of the certain rights that you have, and to set bond on those offenses that I'm authorized to do so. And then it's also to schedule any preliminary hearings that I can, as well as to give you an attorney if you qualify for one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are several rights that you have as a defendant here at this point. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to a presumption of innocence. You have the right to an indictment by a grand jury for a felony or by accusation for a misdemeanor. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your own behalf. You have the right to testify on your own behalf if you want to and offer evidence in your own defense. You have the right to an attorney, and if you can't afford one, I will determine whether you qualify for one. And then lastly, if you are not a citizen, it is important that you understand that some of these charges may adversely affect you. And so at some point during your case, you do want to try to contact an immigration attorney to determine how this will affect you. Now, as I mentioned, among me telling you what you're charged with, I'm also going to talk to you about bond. Some of you all, ladies and gentlemen, will be allowed to post what are called unrestricted bonds for your release from jail pending the prosecution of your case. Now, these are types of bonds where, like I said, you will be out on bond or you'll be out until your case is resolved. You can bond out in three different ways. The first way would be if you pay cash on the bond amount I'm going to tell you this morning. The second would be commercial, which is the use of a bonding company. And the third way to bond out would be through the use of a deed or a property bond. Now, when I say cash, what I mean by that, as an example, if I tell you that you were charged with battery family violence here this morning, and I tell you that your bond is $6,000, if you or someone you know can bring $6,000 plus any sheriff's fees up to the sheriff's office, they will hold that $6,000 until your case is closed, and then they will return that money to you. If you do not have all 6,000 and you want to use a bonding company typically will require that you have anywhere from 12 to 15% of your bond. The difference between a bonding company and posting it all in cash, you don't get the money back that you give a bonding company. So my same example, if I tell you your bond this morning is 6,000 and you don't have it full to give to the sheriff, so you want to use a bonding company, if you come up with 15% of 6,000, which means that you'd have to come up with roughly about $750, you give that to the bonding company, they keep it, and it is no longer yours and you're out on bond. The final way is the use of a property bond. If you or someone you know owns a piece of property, such as a home or anything else, they can bring that deed up to the sheriff's office so long as the property is worth 3 or more times the amount of bond. So again, my example, you or someone you know would have to own a piece of property that has at least $18,000 in equity in it in order to use your property to bond out. Now, in addition to the bond amount I'm going to talk to you about, some of you all will have special conditions on your bond. That means that you are to either have no contact with someone or to stay away from them or to stay away from a particular place. If I tell you that you are to have no contact with someone, ladies and gentlemen, please listen to what I'm telling you. You are to have no contact with that alleged victim. That means you can't call them, you can't text them, you can't email, you can't write, you can't contact them through social media. You can't even do something as nice as write them a song. If I tell you not to return to a particular location, that means don't go back for any reason. If I tell you to not go back to a place that you were living at before this alleged offense happened, please understand, ladies and gentlemen, I have marked off a check mark on your bond paperwork that allows you to go back, but just to pick up your items, and you must be accompanied by someone with the sheriff's office within 10 days of your getting out on bond. Now, please keep in mind, again, to abide by what I tell you, whether it is to stay away or to stay away from a person or a place. Please understand that if you fail to do so, you will be back in custody on a bond revocation, and it does subject you to an additional felony with up to 20 years in prison and up to $20,000 in fines. Also, ladies and gentlemen, please remember that if your spouse, family member, or friend that would otherwise bring your bond money or your property deed up to the sheriff's office is the alleged victim in your case, they can't bring it up here for you. So as my example, if you're involved in a battery family violence, you're alleged to have struck your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, brother, sister, and you tell them to bring the money up, the sheriff won't allow it. It's not permitted. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are also some of you that are charged with offenses that I am not permitted to give you bond for. If that is the case on your case when you come up, I will advise you so, and I will give you your next court date. There are some of you all who may be on active probation as well. If you are on active probation for particular charges, I may not be able to give you bond. And again, I will tell you when you come up to speak with me. Now, lastly, before we begin and we take the oath, I just want to talk to you all about a preliminary hearings. If you are charged with a felony, you automatically get what is called a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is where you are present, the officer is present, the judge is present, and you go over your case and whether there is enough evidence for your case to go to the prosecutor. It is not your trial. It is simply a hearing that you have before you go to the prosecutor. If you are charged with a felony again, you will automatically get it, and I will give you your date. If you are charged with a misdemeanor, you have a right to it, and I will give you a date if you want it. Again, it's up to you. If you're charged with that misdemeanor, you can tell me, Judge, I don't want that hearing, or yes, I do. The difference is if you do want that hearing and you don't make bond, I'll set it. That's another hearing you'll have before you go to the prosecutor. If you tell me you don't want to have it, I will waive that hearing and we'll send it up to the prosecutor directly. So it may make it move a little faster to getting your case accused or indicted and then hopefully resolved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I could have everyone please raise their right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information that you're about to give to this court, as well as any information that you provide on your court-appointed counsel documents, was the truth and is the truth, so help you God? And if it is, please say I do. All right, thank you all. All right, Ms. Toles, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor, I can hear you.
All right, Deputy, if we could have the gentleman, just have him move a little closer to the computer, so make sure he hears.
We
All
have
right, Ms.
a female.
We have more than one gentleman. I mean, excuse me, more than one Spanish speaking person.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, can you give me their names, please?
The male's name is, Mr. Galvin Manuel, and Miss Torres Marble.
Okay, I believe I've got it. Okay, and then Galvin, and you said, what was the gentleman again? You said Galvin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Toles, if you would go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hola, señores, buenos días. Soy la intérprete que les voy a interpretar lo que dice el señor juez hoy día.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Thorpe.
Buenos días, damas y caballeros. Yo soy el juez Thorpe.
Okay. And I am here to tell each of you what you've been charged with and then discuss with you a couple of court dates and also your bond amount.
Estoy aquí para informarle a los dos de los cargos que se le han formulado en su contra. También hablar con ustedes sobre su próxima cita judicial y la cantidad de su fianza.
Okay. Please, both of you remember that this is being recorded. And so let's not talk about the specific facts of your case as this recording can be used against you.
Recuerden, por favor, que esta sesión se está grabando, así que no hablemos, por favor, de los hechos específicos de su caso, porque la audiencia se está grabando.
Okay. Now, the purpose of today's court date is to advise you of what you've been charged with, to set bond, and to determine if I can appoint you a court-appointed attorney.
El propósito de la audiencia de hoy es informarles de los cargos que se han formulado en su contra, de fijarle una fianza. And I'm sorry,
However,
what was that last one, Your Honor?
Or to
Yeah.
determine if I can appoint you an attorney.
Y también para determinar si yo le puedo designar un abogado. Thank you.
However, as we go through this, please remember you have a right to remain silent.
Sin embargo, mientras estamos en esta audiencia, acuérdense que tienen el derecho a permanecer callado,
You have a right to a presumption of innocence.
tienen el derecho de ser presunto inocente,
You have a right to an indictment by grand jury for a felony or accusation for a misdemeanor.
el derecho a la presentación de una acusación formal por el gran jurado cuando se trata de delitos graves o que proceden con usted, contra usted con una acusación cuando se trata de delitos menores.
You have a right to a speedy and public trial by jury.
Tiene derecho a un juicio público y sin demora con un jurado.
You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf.
Tienen el derecho a exigir la presencia de testigos para que declaren a nombre suyo.
You have a right to testify on your own behalf or to offer evidence in your own defense.
Tienen el derecho a declarar a nombre suyo o presentar pruebas en su defensa.
You have a right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you.
Tienen el derecho a ver, oír y interrogar a los testigos citados a declarar en su contra.
You have a right to have an attorney to represent you, and if you cannot afford one, I will determine whether I can appoint you one this morning.
Tiene derecho a un abogado para que le represente. Y si no tuviera los medios para contratar uno, yo le podría designar uno de oficio si ustedes cumplen los criterios.
Now, as I tell each of you what your bond amount is that you would have to pay to be released, there are 3 ways that you can make your bond and be released.
Ahora, ahora que les informo de cuánto es su fianza, la cantidad que tiene que pagar para salir en libertad, hay tres maneras de pagar esta fianza.
Okay. You can be released by paying the full amount of the bond I will tell you this morning, and the sheriff will hold it until your case is closed.
Podría salir en libertad al pagar la cantidad completa de la fianza, de la cual le voy a informar hoy en la mañana, y así, pagando esta cantidad, usted quedaría en libertad de la cárcel.
I got it.
If you don't have the full amount, you can use a bonding company that will require you to pay only 15% of the bond.
Si no tuviera la cantidad total, podría hacer uso de una compañía de fianzas donde pagaría el 15% de la fianza total.
However, if you use a bonding company, you will not get that money returned to you.
Sin embargo, si hace uso de una compañía de fianza, esta cantidad que paga no se le va a devolver.
The final way to bond out would be the use of a property bond, wherein someone would be able to bring the deed to their property, and the sheriff would hold it until your case is closed.
La última manera de pagar la fianza es a través de una propiedad. Entonces, alguien tendría que llevar la escritura o título de una propiedad a la oficina de la comisaría, que guardaría ese documento hasta que el caso se concluya, y luego se le devolvería ese documento.
Now, in addition to telling you how much your bond is, I am also going to tell at least one of you that you will have a special condition attached to your bond.
Ahora, además de informarle de cuánto es su fianza, le voy a tener que decir a por lo menos uno de ustedes que tiene condiciones especiales.
If I tell you as a part of your bond that you are not to have contact with someone or not to return to a place where this happened, allegedly, please listen.
Si yo le digo que no debe de tener contacto con una persona en particular o que no vuelve a un sitio en particular, por favor, acátese a esa norma.
Your failure to listen could result in an additional felony charge and fines up to $20,000 for not listening to my instructions.
Si no hace caso, en cumplimiento con esas condiciones puede resultar en la formulación de delitos graves en su contra con multas de hasta de $20,000.
Now, lastly, before we begin, the final thing I want to talk to you both about is something called a preliminary hearing.
Por último, antes de comenzar, la última cosa sobre la cual quiero hablar con ustedes es la audiencia preliminar.
A preliminary hearing happens when, for each of you, are charged with a misdemeanor before your case is formally accused by the prosecutor.
La audiencia preliminar sucede cuando cada uno de ustedes tiene cargos menores imputados antes de una acusación formal a través de la Procuraduría.
At this hearing, you are present, the judge is present, your attorney, and the police officer who arrested you.
En esta audiencia usted estará presente, el juez estará presente, su abogado y el agente de policía que lo arrestó.
And the reason for this hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence for your case to proceed to the prosecutor.
Y la razón de la audiencia es para determinar si existen suficientes pruebas para que el caso proceda al procurador.
Okay. Now, because each of you is charged with a misdemeanor, I'm going to ask each of you individually if you would like to have that hearing or to tell me you don't want it.
Como a ustedes dos se le ha imputado cargos menores, les voy a preguntar si quisiera tener la audiencia o si prefieren no tener la audiencia.
Okay. If either or both of you bond out, then you will automatically waive that right to that hearing.
Si alguno de ustedes sale bajo fianza, entonces automáticamente renuncia el derecho a esa audiencia.
Or if you would like for your case to move a little quicker, that is also another reason to waive that hearing.
O si usted quisiera que su caso se tramite un poco más rápido, es otra razón por la cual renunciar a la audiencia.
All right, so if I could have up first, I believe that Mr. Galvin, is that correct?
Señor Galván, adelante, por favor.
Is that how you, Galvan?
Galván, ¿así pronuncio su apellido, señor? Galván.
Okay. Morning, sir. My name is Judge Thorpe.
Buenos días, señor. Yo soy el juez Thorpe.
The
Good morning.
first question I have for you, sir, is are you working?
La primera pregunta que tengo para usted, señor, es, ¿está trabajando?
Sí.
Yes.
And how much are you making per month?
¿Y cuánto está ganando al mes, señor?
Pues gano como 600 a la semana.
If the interpreter may ask him to repeat to hear clearly. ¿Dijo
Yes, ma'am.
600 a la semana?
Sí.
I earn about 600 a week.
And do you have any children?
¿Y tiene hijos, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
How many?
¿Cuántos?
No.
One.
And do you take care of your child?
¿Y usted cuida de su hijo?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. All right, sir. So I am going to find that you qualify for a court-appointed attorney for your case, okay?
Muy bien, señor. Entonces voy a determinar que usted sí cumple los criterios para un abogado de oficio.
Now, let me tell you what you've been charged with.
Ahora le voy a informar de lo que son los cargos en su contra, señor.
You've been charged with one count of improper passing on the right,
Se le ha imputado un cargo de repasar inapropiadamente del lado derecho,
one count of driving under the influence,
un cargo de manejar bajo los efectos de alcohol
and one count of reckless driving.
y un cargo de manejar con imprudencia.
Okay. Now, I have dismissed the DUI count against you.
Bueno, yo desestimé el cargo de manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol.
However, the remaining two counts each carries a bond amount of $500 apiece. Or, excuse
Sin
me,
embargo,
my apologies, Madam Interpreter. The first charge carries a bond of $500. The second carries a bond of $1,000.
sin embargo, yo desestimé el cargo de manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol. Entonces, los dos cargos restantes, el primero conlleva una fianza de $500 y el segundo tiene una fianza de $1,000.
That brings your total bond to $1,500.
Entonces, su fianza total será $1,500.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta para mí, señor?
No, lo que pasa es que el dinero, mis cheques se van en el carro y no tengo el dinero conmigo.
No, the thing is that my money, the check left in the car, so I don't have my money.
Well, unfortunately, the only other thing that I can suggest to you is when you have an opportunity, maybe you will be able to reach out to someone who will be able to provide that money for you to bond out.
Bueno, lamentablemente lo único que le puedo sugerir es posiblemente cuando tenga la oportunidad, usted se ponga en contacto con alguien que posiblemente tenga el dinero para la fianza.
Sí, el problema es que ahí tengo mi teléfono y todo, tengo toda la información en el teléfono y no tengo a nadie aquí más que...
Yes, that's the issue, that my telephone and all is there and all my information is in the phone, so I don't have anyone.
Well, sir, I mean, that would be something to discuss with the jail. Unfortunately, I can't be of help there.
Bueno, eso sería algo que usted tendría que arreglar con los de la cárcel. Lamentablemente no le puedo ayudar en eso.
Gracias.
Okay.
Now, the last thing that I need to talk with you about, sir, is because you are charged with a misdemeanor, you have the right to the preliminary hearing that I mentioned earlier, or, sir, you can waive that right to that hearing, and I can go ahead and send your case directly to the prosecutor. What would you like to do, sir? Would you like me to set that hearing date for you, or would you like to waive that right to that hearing?
Bueno, la última cosa sobre la que tengo que hablar con usted es la audiencia preliminar. Como usted solamente tiene cargos imputados de calidad menor, entonces usted tiene el derecho a renunciar a la audiencia preliminar para enviar el caso directamente al procurador. Entonces, ¿cómo preferiría usted, señor? ¿Mantener la fecha de la audiencia preliminar programada o renunciar a la audiencia preliminar? I'd like to waive the hearing.
Okay, sir. So because you are asking me to waive that hearing for you, The deputies there will have a piece of paper for you to sign. And once they have you sign that piece of paper, sir, that'll be all that I have for you this morning, okay?
Muy bien, señor. Como me está pidiendo renunciar a la audiencia, los agentes ahí tendrán un documento para que usted lo firme. Entonces, una vez que firme el documento, ya se podrá retirar. Gracias, señor.
Gracias.
Yes,
All right,
thank
good
you.
luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Job is not working.
For him.
It should be up now. I just approved it.
Okay.
Okay. And are you Miss Torres?
¿Es usted la señora Torres? Yes.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Judge Thorpe, and I'm going to talk to you about what you've been charged with this morning, okay?
Buenos días, señora. Yo soy el juez Thor. Voy a hablar con usted sobre los cargos que se le han imputado hoy.
All right. So, Miss Torres, you have been charged with one count of battery.
Bueno, señora Torres, a usted se le ha imputado un cargo de acometimiento.
And your bond amount, ma'am, is $2,500.
La cantidad de su fianza es de $2,500.
I know.
You also have a special condition, ma'am, and that is to stay away from a Mr. Yeltser Mendoza.
Usted también tiene una condición especial de ningún contacto con Yeltser Mendoza.
Do you understand that, ma'am?
¿Entiende eso, señora?
Sí, pero tengo una pregunta.
Yes, but I do have a question.
Okay, and I'm going to answer your question, but before I do, please remember, you don't want to talk to me about your case, though.
Y sí le voy a responder a la pregunta, pero acuérdese, señora, que usted no vaya a querer hablar conmigo sobre su caso.
Sí,
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead with your question, ma'am.
Adelante con la pregunta.
solo el nombre de la persona no es el mismo que yo conozco.
Just that the name of the person isn't the same of the person I know.
Well, that's the name that I've been provided, unfortunately, so that's what I have to give you.
Bueno, lamentablemente ese es el nombre que me proporcionaron, entonces esa es la información que tengo para usted.
And so my suggestion to you would be, regardless of whether that is the correct name, if you see that person, you go the other direction.
Entonces mi sugerencia para usted sería, independientemente de que sea el nombre correcto o no de esa persona, si usted ve a esta persona, que vaya a otro lado.
Está bien.
Okay.
Okay. Are you currently working, ma'am?
¿Está trabajando actualmente, señora?
Sí.
Yes.
And how much are you making per month?
¿Y cuánto está ganando al mes?
Como 3,200.
Like 3,200.
Do you have any children, ma'am?
¿Tiene hijos, señora?
Sí,
Yes.
How many?
¿Cuántos?
3.
3.
No, you fit it for your inner carrier.
Is their father assisting you in taking care of the children?
Y hay un padre que le está ayudando a usted a cuidar y mantener a los niños.
Sí.
Yes.
So unfortunately, I am not going to be able to appoint you a lawyer, so you will have to hire your own for your case.
Lamentablemente no voy a poder nombrarle un abogado, entonces usted tendrá que contratar un abogado para ayudarle en su caso.
Está bien.
Okay.
Lastly, ma'am, I mentioned the preliminary hearing and whether I can set you that date or I can waive that date for you. Which would you like me to do?
Por último, yo le mencioné la audiencia preliminar, entonces yo podría fijar la fecha de la audiencia o renunciar a la audiencia para usted. ¿Cuál preferiría, señora?
La que voy a pagar la fianza.
The one with where I'll pay the bond.
Okay, yes, ma'am. And we've already spoken about that, but this is about the preliminary hearing. Would you like to have that hearing where you're present, the judge and the officer, or would you like me to skip that hearing and send your case on up to the prosecutor?
Sí, señora, ya hablamos de eso, pero le pregunto sobre la audiencia preliminar. ¿Quisiera usted tener esta audiencia donde usted estará presente junto con el juez y el oficial de policía o prefieres saltar la audiencia para que yo mande el caso directamente al procurador?
Saltar.
I'd like to skip it.
Okay. So, ma'am, what's going to happen this morning is the deputy will have a piece of paper for you to sign. And once you sign that paper, they're actually going to have 2 papers for you to fill out. And then once you sign both of those papers, you are done this morning, okay?
Bueno, señora, entonces el señor oficial le va a poner a firmar un documento. De hecho, habrá 2 que usted tendrá que llenar. Y una vez que termine con los documentos, ya se puede retirar, señor.
Gracias.
Oh,
Thank you.
and tell her my apologies. It'll just be one piece of paper.
Disculpe, señora, es un documento solamente.
Okay,
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Buena suerte, señora.
gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jartu.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too.
Got 1, 2, 3.
All right, Deputy. So that should put us with just all of the non-job females first.
What'd you say, Your Honor?
We should be on the non-jots females then.
Oh, you want the non-jobs? Okay. Hold on, Your Honor.
What's your name?
I got first a Joyce Gervin is who I've got. It's not many of them, but it's Joyce Gervin. And I can, let me tell you. Oh, I'm sorry, not Gervin. In order on jots, I've got Carswell, Crowley, and Curtin are the first three. Carswell, Crowley, and Curtin.
Okay, Your Honor.
If you can hear me. Carswell, Crowley, and Curtin. Are you Miss Carswell?
Yes, sir.
All right, Miss Carswell, you were charged here. Excuse me, the machine's moving a little slow. You were charged here with 1 count of cruelty to children in the 2nd degree, 1 count of reckless conduct, and 1 count of obstruction of an officer, ma'am. That cruelty to children is a felony. I need to make you aware of that. That means that you will, if you don't make your bond here, have a preliminary hearing. Ma'am, the preliminary hearing date is going to be September 18th. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Cruelty to children carries a bond amount, ma'am, of $10,000. The reckless conduct, $2,500, and the obstruction, $2,500 for a total bond, $1,500. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
So I see here, just looking at the paperwork that you're working, how much money are you earning per month, ma'am?
I don't know. I just started this job, so I haven't received a paycheck yet.
Okay, so then based on that, ma'am, I am gonna go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will get one free of charge, okay?
Yes, sir.
So that's all I have for you this morning. Again, September 18th. It's gonna be your next court date if you don't make bond. Your bond amount is $15,000, and I have gone ahead and I've appointed you a court-appointed lawyer. Do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you then, ma'am.
Come on here. I'm in the middle of the screen. Look, I'm in the middle of the screen.
All right, are you Miss Crowley?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Miss Crowley, you are charged here with 1 count of robbery by sudden snatching, ma'am. That is a felony. So your next court date is going to be September 18th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Your bond amount, ma'am, is going to be $7,500. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
Now I'm looking at the information that you provided me, and based on the information that you provided to me, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, and that's going to be free of charge, and that's going to be to help you on your case. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions of me about anything?
The sheriff, he had gave me an OR when I seen him yesterday.
No, ma'am, he's not permitted to do that, ma'am.
No, I'm talking about who the one that took Victor Hill's position. You can't
No, ma'am, you do not have an OR, ma'am, Miss Crowley, you do not have an OR bond. Your bond is I just gave you your bond amount, ma'am, it's $7,500.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
What's the man that took? Miss Curtis?
So this should be Miss Curtin up next, and then after Miss Curtin, I've got Hammond, Higgins, and Johnson. Hammond, Higgins, and Johnson. Are you Miss Curtin? You come a little closer, ma'am. I'm having trouble hearing you. Okay, so Miss Curtin, you're charged with 1 count of theft by taking and 1 count of violation of a Georgia Controlled Substances Act. That is a felony, ma'am. And so your next court date is going to be September 18th. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that, ma'am? Okay. Now, as far as your bond, the theft by taking carries a bond amount of $3,500, and the felony violation of a Georgia Controlled Substances Act, that also carries a bond, and that also carries a bond amount of $3,500 as well. Do you understand that? Is that a yes?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Now, based on, let me ask you this, ma'am, are you working at all?
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
Okay, so based on that, ma'am, I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will get a lawyer free of charge to help you on your case, okay?
Oh.
All right, ma'am, do you have any questions about anything of me? I'm sorry?
No.
All right, ma'am, so if you don't have any questions of me, that's all I have for you. Good luck to you, ma'am. All right, should be Hammond, Higgins, and Taylor. Excuse me, yeah,
What's
Taylor
the next?
Johnson. Hammond, Higgins, and Johnson be the next three.
Yes,
Hammond, Higgins, and Johnson. Are you Miss Hammond?
Yes.
All right, so Miss Hammond, we're charged here with one count of cruelty to children in the second degree, ma'am. That is a felony. Your next court date, ma'am, is going to be September 18th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that? I can barely hear you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I also need to tell you, you're gonna have two court dates here because at this point, ma'am, based on the allegations, I have not granted you a bond. You're on a no bond right now. So in addition to the date that I just gave you, your second date is also gonna be for a review of your bond. That's gonna be on September 27th at 8:30 a.m. And that's also gonna be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Can you tell me the dates again?
The first date, your preliminary hearing is the 18th of next month, September. Your next date after that is going to be the 27th, also of September, and also at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom.
So September 18th.
18th for your preliminary hearing, 27th for your bond. Okay? Can you hear me, ma'am? Ms. Hammond, can you hear me? All right, thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Higgins is a male, so do you want Miss Johnson?
Okay, they've got him. Okay, they just got it wrong. So then can we do Taylor Johnson and I believe it's Leilani Salazar?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, are you Miss Taylor Johnson?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Ms. Johnson, you are charged here with possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana and a seatbelt violation. Are you currently working, Ms. Johnson?
Yes, I start on September 1st.
Okay, so you just started this job?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so based on that, Ms. Johnson, I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna find that you meet the requirements for a court-appointed lawyer, so I will go ahead and grant you a lawyer free of charge, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, I've gotten a chance, I reviewed your criminal history, ma'am, and based on your criminal history, I am gonna go ahead and release you here today. Now, let me be clear, ma'am, that does not mean that your case is over. It just means that you're gonna get out and not have to pay a bond to be released until your case is closed, okay?
Yes, sir.
Also, I need to make sure you understand that please make sure whatever your last known address that you have, we have that on file because that's where your court date is going to be sent to, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, do you have any questions about anything for me?
No, sir.
All right, ma'am, then I have gone ahead, I have signed off on this for you. You just got one piece of paper that you need to sign with the sheriff's office, and once you sign that paper, you're good to go.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Good job.
All right, and are you Miss Salazar?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
All right, so Ms. Salazar here, I'm showing here that you were charged with 1 count of criminal damage in the second degree. Do you understand that, ma'am?
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry?
you cut off a little bit.
I said you are charged with 1 count of criminal damage in the second degree,
Yes, sir.
okay? Now, that is a felony, ma'am. I need you to understand. And so that means your next court date is going to be September 18th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom if you don't bond out. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because you were charged with a criminal damage in the second degree of felony, you do have special conditions, ma'am, and that's to stay away from Miss Estrella Perez and Gerardo Ruiz. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You also have to stay away from the address of 4194 Tressy, Tressy Court. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, are you currently working, ma'am?
No, sir, I currently am in school.
Okay, so based on that, ma'am, I am gonna go ahead. I'm gonna appoint you a court-appointed lawyer here this morning, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, that's all I have for you this morning. Unless you have any questions of me, you are free to go this morning.
So I don't have a bond as of right now.
Oh, I apologize, did I not tell you? Yes, ma'am, your bond, I gave you your conditions. Your bond amount is $3,500. My apologies if I didn't say that, Ms. Salazar.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, so then, deputies, I've got those gentlemen that are on jobs. I've got Allen, Archie, and Clifton as being first. Again, that's Allen, Archie, and
Sir, are you gonna do the rest of the females or you want?
yep, I apologize. We can go ahead and do, yep, you're right. I'm moving too quick. You're right. I've got, is it Miss Gervin?
Yes, sir.
All right, my apologies again, deputy. Ms. Gervin, you're charged with 1 count of reckless driving, 1 count of aggressive driving, 1 count of improper lane change, 1 count of fleeing from the police officer, no license on person, and criminal damage in the second. I reviewed the warrants this morning, Ms. Gervin. The aggressive driving charge, I am gonna dismiss. The criminal damage as a felony, I am gonna dismiss. That does leave you, however, with 1 felony, the fleeing from a police officer, which carries a bond of $5,000. The reckless driving carries a bond of $2,000, the improper lane change, $500, and the license not on person, $1,500. And so your total bond, ma'am, is $9,000. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Now, because you are charged with at least 1 felony here, if you don't make your bond, your next court date, ma'am, is going to be September 18th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom, okay? Again, that's September 18th, and that's 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that, Ms. Gervin?
Yes, Your Honor. Could you tell me the charges that's dropped, please?
Say that one more time. You kind of went out.
I'm sorry. The charges that you dropped.
I dropped the aggressive driving and the felony criminal damage.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Now, I'm looking, ma'am, at the information that you provided. I understand that you are not working. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So based on that, ma'am, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will have a lawyer free of charge to help you on your case, okay?
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And I believe that's all I have for you this morning, ma'am. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. To be Miss Perry.
Yes.
All right. Are you Miss Perry?
Yes.
Miss Perry, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Your bond amount, ma'am, is $1,500. You do have a special condition, and that's to stay away from the alleged victim in this case, a Miss or Mr. or Mrs. Richie Brown, okay?
Yes.
Now, because you are charged with a misdemeanor, ma'am, you have that right to that preliminary hearing that we talked about, or you can waive your right to that hearing. Which would you like to do? Would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing?
That's waiving.
All right, so I'm going to show that you are waiving your hearing this morning. And so what that means is, ma'am, is that they're going to have a piece of paper for you to sign this morning. And once you sign that paper showing that you have waived your preliminary hearing, ma'am, that's all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you Miss Patterson? I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Patterson, you are charged with 1 count of simple assault family violence, ma'am. Looking at the information that I was provided here, you do have special conditions, so you do have to stay away from this is a Trishunta Greer. You're also going to have to stay away from the address of 2202 Stratford Circle. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Your bond amount, ma'am, is $3,500. In addition to those conditions there that I've advised you of. I see here that you're currently working. Based on what you provided, ma'am, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer here this morning, however, okay? Can you hear me, Ms. Patterson?
Yes, okay.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. The last question I have for you, Ms. Patterson, is based on the information you provided, you're being charged with a misdemeanor. We need to determine whether you want to have that preliminary hearing or waive it. Which would you like to do, ma'am? Would you like to have that hearing or waive your right to that hearing?
I'm gonna wait that.
All right. So I'm going to show that you are waiving your right to your hearing. And so because you are doing that, ma'am, the deputies there will have a piece of paper for you to sign. Once you sign that piece of paper, ma'am, you're free to go. Thank you.
Be that meeting tomorrow.
All right. So we should be gentlemen on job. What's your name, sir?
My name is James Allen, sir.
Yep. So Allen, Archie, and Clifton. So Mr. Allen, you are charged here with 1 count of felony theft by receipt of stolen property. That is a felony, as I mentioned. So that means if you don't make your bond that I'm going to give you, your next court date is September 18th. And that's going to be a 2024, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, looking at the information that you've provided to me, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer as well, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Go
we talked about everything. All right, looks like we have Mr. Allen talked about everything. So unless you have any questions for me, you're good to go, sir.
I don't have.
I'm sorry.
I apologize, sir. I'm confused. I never been in this county. Do I get a bond or I'm one of my lawyer?
Yes, I apologize if I didn't tell you. Your bond amount, sir, for that theft is $4,000.
Okay.
All right, good luck to you, sir. Are you Mr. Archie?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. You are charged here, Mr. Archie, with 1 count of expired tag, 1 count of improper headlights, 1 count of felony drugs, 1 count of possession of a drug-related object, and 1 count of possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana. The felony drugs, sir, as it being a felony, if you don't make your bond that I'm going to give you, your next court date is going to be September 18th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, as to your bond, sir, expired tag carries a bond of $500, improper headlights, $500, your felony drugs, $3,500, your drug-related objects, $500, the marijuana misdemeanor, $1,500. So your total bond, sir, is $6,500. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about anything of me, sir?
No, sir.
All right, sir. Well, if you don't have any questions for me, sir, that's all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you. You are.
Thank you. And are you Mr. Clifton?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Clifton, give me 1 second, Mr. Clifton. Give me 1 moment.
Hey, Green, stay on the line. Green.
All right, sorry about that, Mr. Clifton. Okay, so Mr. Clifton, you are charged with 1 count of obstruction of an officer as a misdemeanor. That is a misdemeanor, so your bond amount, sir, is $2,500. Do you understand that, Mr. Clifton?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently working, sir?
Yes, sir.
You said yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I see you're earning, it says about, is that $900 a month?
Yes.
Okay, so I am gonna go ahead, sir, and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer here this morning, free of charge, okay?
Sir.
Now, as to your preliminary hearing, sir, would you like to have your hearing, sir, or waive your hearing?
I would like to have it.
All right, sir, if you would like to have your hearing, we'll go ahead and set that hearing date. Your hearing date is gonna be September 28th, and that's gonna be at 8:30 a.m., and that's via Zoom. Again, that's September 28th. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me give you that correct date. It's September 24th at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
All right, sir. Now, again, I've given you your bond amount. I've given you what you've been charged with. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
All right, sir. Then if you don't have any questions of me, you are free to go. Good luck to you, sir. Give me one moment here. All right, are you Mr. Delone or Delhome?
No, yes, that's me.
Okay. All right. All right, sir, you are charged here with 1 count of obstruction of an officer. You also are charged here with 1 count of reckless conduct. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Now, sir, these are both misdemeanors. And so that means you have what we just talked about with the other gentleman, a right to a preliminary hearing, or you have a right to waive that preliminary hearing. Which would you like to do? Would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing?
I don't want to waive it.
All right, so I am going to show you waiving that hearing. Now, as to your bond amount, sir, let me tell you here that the obstruction of an officer carries a bond amount of $2,500. The reckless conduct carries a bond amount of $3,500. And so your total bond, sir, is $6,000. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, reviewing the information you gave me, sir, I have gone ahead and appointed you a court-appointed lawyer here free of charge. So lastly, the deputies there will have a document that you need to sign showing that you waived your right to the prelim. And after you sign that, sir, then that's all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you.
All right.
Yeah. All right, should be Elam, Hill, and Huff. Or excuse me, Elam, Hill, and I guess we can throw Higgins in there somewhere. Wherever you guys want to. Or ladies and gentlemen want to. And are you Mr. Elam?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Elam, you are charged here with 1 count of criminal trespass, 1 count of terroristic threat, sir. I've reviewed the information that was provided to me this morning. The criminal trespass carries a bond amount of $2,500. The terroristic threats carries a bond amount of $5,000, and so your total bond amount is $7,500. Do you understand that, sir?
That's right.
I am also going to require as a special condition that you stay away from 8103 Kylie, Kylie Court. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, are you currently working, sir?
No, sir.
All right, so I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer that can help you on your case, okay?
Sir.
Lastly, as to the preliminary hearing, sir, would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing?
Have.
Okay. I'm going to show that you'd like me to go ahead and give you that next court date. If you don't make your preliminary hearing, if you don't make your bond, your next court date, Mr. Elam, is going to be September 24th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's September 24th. That is 8:30 a.m., and that's via Zoom, okay? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir. All right, sir. And you are?
Antonio, please.
And Mr. Higgins? All right, so Mr. Higgins, let me get your paperwork here, sir. You, Mr. Higgins, are charged with 1 count of a turn signal violation, 1 count of reckless driving, fleeing and attempting to elude a police officer as a felony, disregarding a traffic control device as a misdemeanor, and driving with a wrong class of license also as a misdemeanor. Now, because you are at least charged with 1 felony, sir, if you don't make the bond that I'm going to give you here this morning, your next court date is going to be September 18th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom if you don't make your bond. Do you understand that? Is it a yes?
Yes, sir.
All right, so after your bond, your turn signal violation is a bond of $500, reckless driving, $2,500, fleeing or attempting to elude is $500, the traffic control is $500, and the wrong class of license is $2,500 for a total of $11,000. Do you understand that, Mr. Higgins?
Say it again.
Your total bond is $11,000. Okay, Mr. Higgins?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay, do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
All right, then that's all I have for you this morning, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, are you Mr. Hill? Are you Mr. Hill, correct?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you? Mr. Hill, you are charged with one count of improper headlights, one count of driving with a suspended license, sir. Those are both misdemeanors. Are you currently working, sir?
Yes, sir.
How much are you making per month?
Say like 4,200, 4,300 a month.
Okay. I am not going to be able to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, sir. So if you want a lawyer on these charges, you will have to get your own, okay?
Okay.
Now, as to your bond here, sir, I've reviewed the charges. I reviewed your criminal history. I am going to go ahead and release you here this morning. Please keep in mind, however, sir, that doesn't mean that your case is closed. Just means you don't have to make a bond on your charges. Please make sure that we have the best known address for you here at the jail. So that way, once your new court date is given, they know how to reach you. Good luck to you, sir. Actually, there's going to be a document you need to sign. Once you sign that document, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, he's doing now. Judge, for Higgins, he's not able to sign. They had his name up under the women's, up under the females, but he's actually a male.
Right, I saw that. I mean, I'm not sure because it let me do my end. It may just be us catching up.
Yeah.
If he continues to have that problem, just let me know and I can reach out to IT and see what they can do about it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
What's the question? You can ask him.
Yep, you're good to go, sir. And are you Mr. Huff?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? Mr. Huff?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Huff, you are charged here with one count of armed robbery as a felony. Again, that is a felony. So your next court date, should you not make your bond, is September 18th of 2024 for it to be reviewed. Now, you actually have two court dates coming up. You got a prelim on the 18th and a bond hearing date on the 27th. The reason you're going to get two court dates, sir, is I am going to put you in a no bond status here today. So I'm not going to give you a bond. So again, you have an opportunity to have it reviewed either at your prelim or at your bond hearing date on the 27th. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on the information that you provided to us this morning, I am going to go ahead and give you a lawyer this morning free of charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
At this point, sir, do you have any questions for me?
I don't.
All right, sir, then I have gone ahead and you're good to go. Thank you. Good luck to you. Are you Mr. Jeffries?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jeffries, you are charged with one count of theft by receiving, one count of possession of a tool for the commission of a crime, one count of obstruction, one count of party to a crime. These are felonies, sir. And so your next court date, should you not make your bond, sir, is going to be September 18th. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, if you don't make your bond, your next court date is going to be September 18th, 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, as to your bond, sir, your bond amount is $4,000 on the theft, $3,000 on the possession of tools, $2,500 on the obstruction, $2,500 on the party to a crime, for a total bond of $12,000. Do you understand that? Now, based on the information that you have provided to me this morning, sir, I am not going to be able to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will have to hire your own lawyer this morning. Do you understand that? Did you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. So then I have gotten everything I needed to get to you, sir. Unless you have any questions, you're good to go. Oh, actually, Miss, is it? I'm sorry, sir. Give me 1 second. What's your name again?
Lance Jeffries.
Yes, Mr. Jeffries. Okay, I'm sorry. Give me 1 second, Mr. Jeffries. I just need to correct something here. 30 a.m. via Zoom. Mr. Jeffries, I am gonna go ahead. Hold on, Mr. Jeffries. I think the form. Okay, all right, you're good to go, Mr. Jeffries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
That's man move slowly.
And what's your name, sir?
Hassan Nelson.
Okay, give me 1 second here. All right, so Mr. Nelson, you are charged here with one count of aggravated assault, One count of battery family violence, sir. The aggravated assault, Mr. Nelson, is a felony. That does mean that your next court date here, sir, if you don't make your bond, is going to be September 18th. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's going to be September 18th. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that, Mr. Nelson?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on the information you provided to me here this morning, sir, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will have a lawyer free of charge. Do you understand that? Lastly, I need to give you your bond. The bond amount on the ag assault carries a bond of $25,000. The bond amount on the simple battery family violence carries a bond amount of $3,500. So your total bond, sir, is $28,500. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You also have special conditions, and those are to stay away from a Charles Raphael Nelson and also the address of 8699 Westbourne Drive. So if that's somewhere you were living prior to the defense, sir, you're not allowed back there unless you are accompanied within 10 days of your release by the sheriff's office. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
All right, you stay there, huh?
Are you Mr. Newton?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Newton here, you are charged with 1 count of improper passing or crossing a roadway, 3 counts of obstruction and possession of a handgun by a person under the age of 18. These are all misdemeanors, sir. Based on the information you provided, I am going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, so you'll have a lawyer free of charge. Earlier, I talked about a preliminary hearing. Mr. Newton, do you want that hearing or you want me to waive that hearing?
I like to waive it.
All right, so I'm going to show here, Mr. Newton, that you'd like me to waive your hearing. Lastly, I just need to tell you your bond amounts here. The bond amount on the 3 counts of obstruction each carry a bond of $2,500. The improper passing on the roadway by a pedestrian is $500, and the possession of the firearm is $8,000. So your total bond, sir, is $16,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
All right, then that's all I have for you. Good luck to you. And he is waived, so he needs to sign.
Yes, sir.
And are you Mr. Is it Olade?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Olade, you are charged with 1 count of improper display of a license plate, 1 count of driving with a suspended license. Are you currently working, sir?
Yes, sir.
And how much are you earning per month?
2,000, sir.
You have any children?
No, sir.
All right, sir. So I am gonna show that I am not permitted to assist you with a court-appointed lawyer. You will have to get your own lawyer free of charge if you would like one on this case, okay?
Yes, sir.
However, I am gonna go ahead and release you this morning based on what I have in front of me. So please make sure that we have a good address for you so that upon your release, they're able to get the mail to you appropriately, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions about anything of me?
No, sir.
All right, then good luck to you, sir. Are you Mr. Robinson?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Robinson, you are charged with 1 count of possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana, sir, as a misdemeanor. I have reviewed the information I have before me here. Are you currently working, sir?
No, sir.
So I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will have a lawyer free of charge for you on your case, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, in addition to that, based on the information I have before me, Mr. Robinson, I am going to go ahead and give you a lawyer free of charge. Do you understand? Excuse me, I am going to go ahead and release you this morning. Please make sure before you are released today that we have your best known address because that's where your new court date is going to be sent, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Robinson.
You too. Come on.
And he needs to sign too. Both of those last 2 need to sign.
Sir, we got it.
Okay, Mr. Singleton, are you Mr. Singleton?
Yes, sir.
Right, so Mr. Singleton, you are charged with 1 count of driving without a tag, 1 count of operating a vehicle with no insurance, driving without a license, felony, fleeing and attempting to elude, 1 count of reckless driving, 1 count of reckless conduct, violation of a duty to strike to remain after striking a fixed object, improper lane change, failure to maintain lane, and 1 count of running a red light. Now, as to your bond amount, sir, the bond on the no tag is 500. The operating with no insurance, 500. Without a license, 1,500. Felony fleeing, 5,000. Reckless driving and reckless conduct each carry a bond of 2,500. Violation of a duty upon striking an object carries a bond of 2,500. Improper lane change, failure to maintain lane, and the traffic control device each carry a bond of 500. So your total bond, sir, is 16,500. Do you understand that? Mr. Singleton?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you currently working?
No, sir.
So based on that, Mr. Singleton, I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna appoint you a court-appointed lawyer here, free of charge, sir, so you will not have to pay for a lawyer. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because you are charged with a felony here, I need you to understand that if you don't make that bond amount that I just gave you, your next court date is going to be September 18th, and that's gonna be at 8:30 a.m., and that's gonna be via Zoom.
Is that,
Again, that's I'm sorry?
is that prelim?
Yes, that's gonna be your prelim date.
I want to wait.
No, you do not have that option, sir, because you're charged with a felony. Again, it's September 18th, 8:30 a.m., and that's via Zoom. Do you understand?
I can have a lawyer?
Yes, sir. I gave you one free.
Okay.
All right, good luck to you.
Do they have veterans court?
Yes, we do. Are you a veteran?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'll make that notation here and we'll try to get you into that based on, they're gonna have to take a look at your case and we'll see.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right, thank you. Are you Mr. Stroud? Mr. Stroud, you are charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, family violence. Are you currently working, sir? I'm sorry? All right, so I am gonna give you a lawyer free of charge. Because you are charged with a misdemeanor, here, you have a right to the preliminary hearing we talked about, or you can waive that right, sir. What would you like to do? Have it or waive it? All right, so I am gonna show here this morning that you are waiving your right to that preliminary hearing. So the deputies will have a piece of paper for you to sign. Again, your bond amount is 2,500. You do have special conditions, sir, and those are to stay away from 4744 Mitchell Ridge Drive, and to also stay away from, I believe this person's name is Desandria Smith. Do you understand that? Sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now let me explain to you, as I said earlier, in case you didn't hear me, if for whatever reason you were living at that address prior to this incident happening, okay? I'm not suggesting that you were, but if you were, please keep in mind, you are not allowed back at that address unless you are accompanied by the sheriff's office, okay? You hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have any questions about anything that we have spoken about this morning? Sir? I can't hear you. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I said no, sir.
Okay. Well, if you don't have any questions, sir, and I think you've waived it, your right to that preliminary hearing, as I recall, if you would, the deputies will have a piece of paper for you to sign, and once you sign that paper, that's all we got, sir. All right, are you Mr. Upshaw?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Upshaw, you're charged with 1 count of driving with a suspended license, 1 count of pandering. Those are both misdemeanors. So you have a right to waive that preliminary hearing, or you can have that hearing. Which would you like to do this morning? Have it or waive it?
I'm gonna have it, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna show that you are asking to have your hearing. Your next court date, sir, should you not make the bond that I'm gonna give you here, is gonna be September 24th at 8:30 a.m. Again, that's gonna be September 24th, and that's gonna be at 8:30 a.m. Your bond amount for each of those charges, sir, is 2,500 for a total bond of 5,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Are you currently working, sir?
Yes, sir.
How much are you earning per month?
About $2,000.
You have any children?
8.
All right, sir. So I am gonna show here that I'm gonna appoint you a court-appointed lawyer this morning. So you will have a lawyer free of charge. You understand that?
Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. So that's all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Are you Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, so Mr. Williams, you are charged with 1 count of reckless conduct, 1 count of theft by taking, 1 count of cruelty to children in the 2nd degree, which is a felony. So because it's a felony, sir, if you don't make the bond that I'm going to talk to you about, your next court date is going to be September 18th, and it's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and it's going to be via Zoom. Again, that court date is going to be September 18th, 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom, Mr. Williams. Do you understand?
Yes, sir, I do.
The reckless conduct, sir, carries a bond amount of $2,500, the theft $3,500, and the cruelty to children $10,000 for a total bond of $16,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, lastly, you do have special conditions. Those are to stay away from 109 Peyton Place.
I love that. I don't love that shit.
Excuse me. Those are to stay away from 109. Let me just double check. Give me 1 second, sir. Let me double check that. It's to stay away from 109 Peyton, Peyton, Peyton Place. And it's also you're to have no contact with this individual, a Miss Margaret Carswell. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Man,
Okay, now, hold on, let me finish because I think I may know what you're gonna say. Now, Mr. Williams, if that is a place that you were living prior to this happening, please keep in mind, you are not to return to that address unless you are accompanied by the sheriff's office within 10 days of your release. Otherwise, you cannot go back to that address. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Does that answer your question?
Well, not exactly, sir.
Okay,
because-
let me get through a few more things and I'll answer your question. Are you working?
Yes, sir, but I think I might have lost my job because
How much are you earning per month, or how much were you earning?
1,200.
Okay, so based on that, I am gonna go ahead, I'm gonna appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, okay?
Yes, sir.
So your next court date again is gonna be the 18th of next month. If you don't make bond at 8:30 a.m., I've given you a lawyer free of charge. I've told you what your bond amount is for the charges that you have, that total bond being 16,000. It sounded like you had a question for me. What's your question, sir?
Well, I think you got it misunderstood about that 109. It didn't happen at 109. 109 is to Tia Lewis. Miss Margaret Carswell we were standing right here, right on Riverdale Road. So they got.
Okay, so right now, that's just the information I have. So if it changes, you know, it'll get changed later by a prosecutor, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Are you Mr. Wright?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Wright, you are charged with 1 count of false imprisonment, 1 count of simple battery as a family violence. False imprisonment is a felony. So your next hearing date, if you don't make bond, will be September 18th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Again, that's September 18th. That's at 8:30 a.m. That's via Zoom. Your bond amount, sir, as to the false imprisonment is $7,500. As to the battery family violence, $2,500, for a total bond of $10,000. And you are to stay away from a Miss Virginia Smith. Do you understand?
Yes,
Lastly, sir, are you currently working?
I'm on medical leave.
Okay.
I had an operation, sir. I ain't supposed to be here. I
Okay.
can't put nobody hostage, man. I ain't even, a 5-year-old could push me over.
I understand, but right now, those are the allegations I have, sir. So I've got to go with what I have right now.
You know, I
So
understand.
I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer free of charge, sir. And that's all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you.
So what's my bond, sir?
10,000.
10,000. What?
10 to 15%.
So 10-15%, you're looking at about 12.
Yeah, more money, I gotta wait. Okay, sir, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
$10,000.
All right. Are you Mr. Zachary?
Yes, sir.
He would be the last one off of Josh too, Judge.
Yes, sir. Mr. Zachary, you're charged with 1 count of possession of less than 1 ounce, seatbelt violation, driving without a license, and then also distracted driving. Those are all misdemeanors, sir. You have a right to that preliminary hearing we spoke of, or you can waive your right to that hearing. Which would you like to do this morning? Have it or waive it?
I waive it.
All right, so I am going to show here this morning on your paperwork that you're waiving your right to the hearing. Now, as to the bond amounts, the marijuana carries a bond amount of $1,500, the seatbelt $500, the driving without a license $1,500, distracted driving $500. Your total bond, sir, is $4,000. Are you currently working, sir?
Yes, sir.
How much are you earning per month?
About 1,500.
All right, so I am gonna go ahead, sir, and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer here this morning, free of charge. So you will get one and not have to worry about payment. Based on everything we've got, sir, I'm good to go. I think the deputies will have a piece of paper for you to sign, and once you sign that paper, that's all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you, sir.
Exactly.
All right. Well, what's your name, sir?
Armstead,
Armstead. Mr. Melvin?
yes.
All right, so Mr. Melvin, you were charged here with one count of terroristic threats. Mr. Armstead, let me be clear, sir. There was some information missing here on your documentation. Because that information was missing, I am gonna go ahead and dismiss your case this morning. I need you to understand, Mr. Armstead, that doesn't mean your case is gonna go completely away. It could very well be that the prosecutors will correct the mistakes and then they will bring this back. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But for the time being, sir, you will be released today before you go home. Thank you.
Yeah. You go back to 7, all the way down on your right-hand side. So.
Next up should be Bell. Bell and then Bonner. Are you Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Bell, you are charged here with one count of simple battery. That is a misdemeanor, sir. Based on the information you provided, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer this morning. This is a misdemeanor, which means that you have a right to waive the hearing, that preliminary hearing, or have that hearing. Which would you like to do, have it or waive it? I'm sorry?
Waive it.
All right, so I am going to show that you're waiving your hearing. Now, after your bond amount is $3,500, and you have a special condition that is to have no violent contact, which means you don't have to stay away, but you are not to have any physical contact with the alleged victim or Marcaden McWhorter. Do you understand? Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir, that's all I have for you this morning. The deputies will have a piece of paper for you to sign. And once you sign that piece of paper, you'll be done this morning. Good luck to you. Are you Mr. Bonner?
Sir.
Mr. Bonner here. You were charged with one count of aggravated assault, one count of battery family violence. Because the aggravated assault, sir, is a felony, if you don't make the bond that I'm going to go over with you here, your next court dates, you got 2. Your next court date is going to be September 18th at 8:30 a.m. Then you're going to have a bond date of September 27th, also at 8:30 a.m. The reason you're having 2 dates, sir, is I'm going to give you, you're on a no bond status this morning on that ag assault. The battery family violence, your bond amount is $3,500. You do have special conditions. So if at a later time you are given a bond, you have to stay away from Rich Marie Otero and from the address of 5654 Bowden Lane. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, but we have a child on the way, so how would we go about
Sir, I would speak to your lawyer. I'm giving you a lawyer free of charge. So when that lawyer gets your case, I will talk to them about that. But as of right now, you're to have no contact with that person. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Once you leave over here, that's it.
Good luck to you, sir.
Are
you Mr. Conley?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Conley, you are charged with one count of criminal damage as a felony. You do have a special condition, sir. Your bond's $3,000. Excuse me, yes, as a felony. Your bond amount is $3,000. You are to stay away from the Hartsfield Airport, sir, unless you are there for travel or for work. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So based on the information you provided, sir, I am not going to be able to grant you a lawyer free of charge. So that means if you want a lawyer in your case, you will have to hire your own. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. That's all I have for you, unless you have any questions for me this morning.
So I don't have a hearing or nothing?
Yes, September 18th, 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. That'll be your next court date if you don't make bond.
Thank you. What's your last name, sir?
And are you Mr. Ibarra?
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Ibarra, you are charged with one count of simple battery. Your bond amount is $2,500. You do have special conditions, and that's to stay away from Edwin Ibarra as well as 4344 Sierra Drive. And so, sir, if that's somewhere that you were living prior to this happening, you will have to be accompanied by the sheriff's office if you need to get back into that property for something, okay?
Yes.
Now, based on the information you provided, sir, I'm not gonna be able to appoint you a lawyer, so you're gonna have to get your own, okay? Then lastly, as to a preliminary hearing, would you like to have your hearing or waive the hearing?
Do you mind explaining to me the differences between those?
Sure, a preliminary hearing is where you're present, the police, the judge, and your attorney to go over whether there is enough evidence for your case to continue forward to the prosecutor. Or you can say, Judge, I don't want that hearing, you want to skip it, in which case I send your case directly to the prosecutor and it actually moves a little quicker, but you don't get the hearing where they review the evidence. Which would you like to have the hearing or waive it?
I believe have the hearing because
Okay. And just let me, and just keep in mind, if you choose to have it and you ultimately make bond, that you waive the right to the hearing. But right now, I will set your next court date for your preliminary you asked for. It'll be September 24th, 8:30 a.m. via Zoom, okay?
8:30.
Yep, September 24th, 8:30 a.m. and it's gonna be via Zoom.
And the bond is 2,500, right?
2,500, yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer for you?
So technically, for that court date on September 24th, it'll be for the whole evidence and everything.
No, that's just your prelim. That's just where they review it. That's not your trial date. That's just
Oh, not trial.
Yeah, not your trial. But if they decide there's not enough evidence, they can dismiss it if they want to there. But that is not your trial date. No, sir. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Good luck to you.
I was telling the inmate last night.
All right. Are you Mr. Simon?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Simon, you're charged with one count of driving with a suspended license, one count of hit and run. Your bond amount for each charge is $1,500 for a total bond of $3,000. Now, because this is a misdemeanor, sir, you have a right to that preliminary hearing that we talked about, or you can waive your right to that hearing. Which would you like to do? Would you like to have the hearing or waive it?
I would like to have it.
Okay, so we're gonna set your next court date as September 24th, 8:30 a.m. and that's gonna be via Zoom if you don't make that bond. Now, are you working right now?
I currently was, yes, sir.
How much are you making per month?
It was around 1,015.
All right, so I am gonna appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So again, next court date is gonna be September 24th. It's gonna be at 8:30 a.m. Via Zoom. And I have given you a court-appointed lawyer, okay? All right, do you have any questions of me, sir? All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you so much. You know, Sam. What's your last name, sir?
Give me one moment, sir.
Did you waive it?
He did not waive.
On our. You want to say? No.
Right, are you Mr. Sterling?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Sterling, you were charged with one count of public drunk, one count of obstruction. The public drunk carries a bond amount of 1,000. The obstruction carries a bond amount of 2,500 for a total bond of 3,500. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, you are charged with both misdemeanors, so you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that right to that hearing. Sir, what would you like to do? Have the hearing or waive it?
Am I able to pay
I got it.
Not here, but after we get done, you can bond out if you want. But right now, I'm asking about this preliminary hearing. Do you want me to set that hearing date or waive that hearing date, sir?
Please set it.
All right, so if you don't make bond, sir, your next court date being charged with misdemeanor is going to be September 18th. September 24th at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's September 24th, 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. And are you currently working, sir?
I just started a new job.
All right, so based on that, I am gonna give you a lawyer free of charge on your case, okay?
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for me, sir, this morning?
One of the sheriffs mentioned that I could use my card to place bond, but the wallet is in the locker, I believe.
So you can, yes, you can use it, but as far as getting it, that would be something you have to discuss with the sheriff.
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
And are you Mr. Tate, is it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tate, you're charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of possession of a firearm, 1 count of simple battery, sir. These are felonies. And so because you're charged with 2 felonies, your next court date is going to be September 18th at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that next court date is going to be September 18th, 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Now, you're also going to have a second court date. That's going to be September 27th at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. The reason you have 2 court dates, the first is your preliminary hearing. The second date is your bond hearing date, because I'm going to no bond you this morning. You're not going to have a bond on the aggravated assault, no bond on the firearm charge. Your bond on the simple battery is a $3,500 bond. You do have special conditions, sir, and those are to stay away from the alleged victim, Mr. Charles Pitts. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, sir. Mr. Tate, do you have any questions of me about anything?
No, sir, I'm fine.
All right, sir. Then that's all I have for you, sir. Good luck to you.
Okay.
And are you Mr. Terry?
This is me.
Mr. Terry?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Terry, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery, 1 count of obstruction. Your bond amount for each charge is $2,500 for a total bond of $5,000. You do have a special condition, sir, and that's to stay away from the alleged victim, Mr. Neil Williams. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, because you are charged with misdemeanors, you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that hearing. Which would you like to do? Have it or waive it, sir?
I'll waive it.
All right, so I am going to show that you are waiving your preliminary hearing. Are you working right now?
Yes, sir.
How much are you making per month?
Maybe about 5,000.
All right, so then I am not going to be able to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, sir. So if you would like one for your case, you will have to hire your own. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions of me?
I heard the bond, my next court date. Or do I have? any?
Because you're waiving your preliminary hearing, sir, it's going to go up to the prosecutor's office. So they're going to review it and they'll give you your next court date if you don't bond out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good luck to you.
Here was the last one, Judge. Come on, sir.
All right. Thank you very much this morning.
Sir, you have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.